All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Yes, it is working. Okay, we are live. I know it's been forever since we've done a live stream, but here we are. Hi. Yeah. um, Hopefully we can get some people on here. But in this live stream, I actually want to cover a couple topics, whether anybody joins or not, which is why we are here. So, to anybody who does tune in either right now or later, hello. I hope you are having a very good day. And today we are going to be covering the 2023 governor elections, which is very important to me at the moment. And it's only in a couple of months. I believe it is in 5 months that we are supposed to have some key governor races in 3 states. Um, haven't seen you in a while. Hello, Jacob Stopper. Yes, it has been a while. Hello, Rust Belt Elections. It is good to see you too. Hello, everybody. By the way, for viewers who are just tuning in and have not um, been up to date on my Twitter situation, my old account on Twitter was hacked and I lost access to that account. This is for anybody who doesn't know. Uh, and I lost access to that account very unfortunately. Um, but I have made another account. If you want me to, I can drop that link in the live chat. But actually, I will go ahead and do that. I would appreciate it if you all would go follow me on my new Twitter account. I have just dropped that in the live chat. Daniel Cameron for governor of Kentucky. Yes, I agree. Daniel Cameron is the Republican nominee for governor of Kentucky. He will face incumbent Democrat Andy Beshear. I find that this is going to be a very interesting governor's race in Kentucky. And let me just go ahead and bring it up right now. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Here is the 2023 Kentucky gubernatorial election. So Andy Beshear is the incumbent Democrat. Attorney General Daniel Cameron is the Attorney General of the state, like I just said, and he is the Republican nominee for governor against Andy Beshear. So, uh, according to general election polling, this is a competitive race, fairly competitive anyway, although in all of the polls thus far, Bashir has either been leading Cameron or tied with Cameron. Cameron has yet to lead in a general election poll. Although we do, like I said, we do still have 5 months to go, so there's time uh, for more polling to come out so we can get a better idea of how this race is going to go down. But the Kentucky governor race is a very critical race for Republicans this November because in some fashion it will indicate electoral momentum going into 2024. Another critical race for, in many ways, for 2024. Daniel Cameron should announce the running. Yeah, yeah, very. And his running mate will affect his chances for the general election. Um, it will be very interesting to see who he picks, in my opinion. But I think uh, that'll definitely be up for discussion later. So, Daniel Cameron's running mate. Guys, who are we thinking Daniel Cameron should select for his running mate? I think it would be very interesting to find that out. Um, should he pick one of his primary opponents? Uh, it's up in the air at the moment. I do think that he should pick someone who has good coattails in Eastern Kentucky, which is going to be a very good, or rather, a very important area of Kentucky for Daniel Cameron if he is going to be the next governor of Kentucky. Uh, so, as Jacob Stopper said, he should announce his running mate, but who he announces for his running mate in the governor's race will indeed matter. James Comer, haha, funny. No. Isn't James Comer like a big DeSantis guy? I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a relatively big DeSantis guy. Mitch McConnell. So true, guys. So true. Imagine Cameron McConnell for governor. So true. Okay. Take him out of the Senate. I mean, true, but if he's lieutenant governor, is that really much better? Because lieutenant governor is going to take over for the governor if Cameron if anything happens to Cameron, like say if Cameron got impeached for whatever reason, which I don't think he would, considering the partisan makeup of Kentucky. But Kelly Craft, okay, no, okay, there's a reason why we all opposed Kelly Craft in the primary. Okay, so to make her lieutenant governor after she was one of his main opponents, and she hasn't even endorsed him for the general election. So I don't see how she would be a good lieutenant governor pick for Daniel Cameron. Anyway, yes, let's try to get some more people in here. I'm not gonna as you can see, I have not dropped the link to the stream in the description because, we've had quite a few bad incidents regarding dropping the link in the stream from the past. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 2024 presidential race, because I think it's only fair that I update my 2024 presidential prediction. And we are going to go ahead and do that now. So let me just get everything set up really quickly. Okay, so this is the 2024 presidential race, assuming that Donald Trump is the Republican nominee and Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee. So I'm going to outline, excuse me, thank you. I'm going to outline what I think the safe states are going to be. So we're just going to go across the country here outlining the safe states for either candidate. So I think the safe state structure will look something like this. Actually, add that. So these are the safe states outlined. Biden starts out with more electoral votes, 191 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 113 electoral votes, if you only factor in safe states. But now we are going to start in Alaska and go work our way east all the way to Maine. So as for Alaska, I think we can all agree it's likely going to go to Donald Trump, probably by. I think it's going to shift toward Biden by a couple points. Trump wins it by, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 points or so. Now, as for Arizona, should we start with Arizona or Nevada? I think Nevada. So Nevada, look, 2022 was not exactly the best environment for Republicans, even in Nevada. And I think even staunch Republicans, partisan hacks on the Republican side, can agree with me when I say that Nevada wasn't exactly the best ordeal for Republicans. in 2022. Excuse me, that was my alarm. Um, but I think Nevada is still slowly but surely trending to the right. But as of now, due to Joe Biden's unpopularity and due to Donald Trump being just as unpopular, I don't see much of a gap between Trump and Biden at this time. I think Trump narrowly ekes out a win in the state of Nevada, which means he will flip it from 2020. Arizona lean for Biden. I don't know what else to say, but Republicans are not looking good in the state of Arizona. You saw this in 2022 with Blake Masters losing by 5, Kerry Lake losing, Mark Fincham, Abe Hamadeh, and other Republicans. Pretty much every single Republican on the statewide ticket losing in the state of Arizona. So Arizona is definitely not looking up for Republicans, and I think in a 2024 rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden will do a couple points better here. He'll probably win the state by around 2 to 3 points, given the Arizona Republican Party's self-destruction. Now, New Mexico, I think Biden will win it by maybe 7 or 8 points. I do think there will be a slight shift toward Donald Trump in the state of New Mexico, but it won't be enough to bring it down to a lean margin. And I think Biden will still win the state by a likely margin. But Hispanic trends, if they do continue the way they have been across the country, then we will see a slight shift toward Donald Trump in the state of New Mexico. Now, Texas, look, Texas trends are overstated. 2022 was a relatively okay year for Texas Republicans, but I do think that Donald Trump will win the state of Texas probably by around a 6 point margin or so. I believe I just don't see a significant shift toward Biden in the state of Texas. As a matter of fact, I don't see a shift toward Biden in Texas at all in 2024. I just don't see how Biden does better in the state of Texas at this time. The election was held today. Uh, I could see an argument for it being another 5 point margin again, but I don't see it being anything less than that. I don't see a lean red Texas. So it'll be around a Trump plus 5 or 6 state in the state of Texas. Now, Iowa and Ohio, I think most of us can agree that Donald Trump will win these states by likely margins. I think he will win Iowa by double digits and potentially even Ohio. But as for now, Iowa definitely will be double digits. I don't know about Ohio. I honestly think this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think Trump's gonna win Ohio by 8 points again. I think he will. I think he's gonna win Ohio by 8 points again. I don't know. This is something about me that has a weird feeling inside that he's probably going to win Ohio by a couple points. JFK or RFK Jr. rather should be the Democratic nominee because he's way better than Biden. Wait, I mean, I do hope that he takes significant votes away from Biden so that he weakens Biden in a general election with Trump. Uh, I mean, JR, RFK Jr. I keep saying JFK, my bad. But RFK Jr. is definitely more of a surging candidate. Uh, and I hearing things that Biden could potentially get kicked off the ballot in New Hampshire and maybe even Iowa because New Hampshire state law requires that they be the first primary in the nation. So there's a real chance that Biden could get kicked off the ballot in New Hampshire. So if RFK is able to win the New Hampshire primary and potentially even the Iowa primary if Biden gets kicked off the ballot, that will be embarrassing for Biden. And even though the delegates won't matter past that point, it'll still be pretty embarrassing for Biden, I can imagine. Uh, I mean, yeah. But yeah, there is a real chance that Iowa and New Hampshire end up kicking Trump off the ballot, which I honestly find very interesting. Uh, moi. Yep. Uh, Sebastian Sanabria, aka the Waffle Man. The Waffle Man's back, y'all. Um, Good to see you back, my dude, the Waffle Man. Republicans only won the governorship. Republicans did. Are you talking about Arizona? Republicans didn't win the governorship. Oh, wait, Nevada. Oh, Nevada, yeah. But even then, you have to remind yourself that the Democrat in the governor's race in Nevada was an incumbent governor. He was an incumbent governor. And even though he was unpopular, he was he was ousted by a Trump endorsed candidate. I believe Joe Lombardo was Trump endorsed. I don't know that for sure, but if I remember correctly, I believe Joe Lombardo was Trump endorsed for the general election. But despite that, Nevada kicked their Democratic governor to the curb for a Trump endorsed Republican. I don't find that I don't find that as evidence that Nevada is not trending Republican. If anything, I find it evidence of the opposite effect. So Nevada, I mean, 2022 did show some signs of Republican breakthrough. I mean, Republicans even won the House popular vote in Nevada in 2022, even though they got only one seat out of that, which is kind of messed up. But there's some signs of breakthrough for Republicans in Nevada. Who do you think will win the Kentucky governor race? As of now, I think Bashir is probably a slight favorite, but that's really about it. I don't see anything else. Yeah, it's, Carrie Lake should not run for Senate. Yeah, I agree. I agree. She wouldn't do the tickets. She wouldn't do the ticket any favors. I totally agree with that. Okay, back to the prediction. The next likely state is Florida. It's amazing to see the trends that have come out of Florida, and how the state has shifted so tremendously to the Republican Party. I mean, we saw how much DeSantis won by in 2022, and obviously that was anecdotal because many Democrats stayed home, and that won't be the case in 2024. But I believe Donald Trump is probably going to win the state of Florida by like 8 points. There has been a massive terraforming by the Florida Republican Party in the state, and I think that will be a major factor going into the 2024 election when Donald Trump wins the state by, I think, around 8 or 9 points or so, maybe more. South Carolina will be another likely Republican state, I believe. I think Trump's going to win it by around 13, maybe even up to 14 points, but I do believe Donald Trump will have a significant margin backing him in the state of South Carolina. Now, Georgia. I'm going to go, honestly, I think Donald Trump will be the last hurrah for Georgia Republicans in 2024. I think that'll be the last time a Republican presidential candidate wins the state of Georgia in 2024. And believe me, it'll be close. It's not like it'll be another Brian Kemp or even Burt Jones margin. It's going to be a lot closer. It's going to be basically inverse 2020 margin in the state of Georgia. But as of now, I believe Donald Trump will pull out the state of Georgia. North Carolina, I believe Trump will win it by around 20. But no, 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 no. 2 points. Okay, 2 points. There we go. I believe Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina by 2 points. There we go. Don't take that out of context. Holy. Uh, okay, that was bad. Okay, don't take that out of context. Okay, Virginia, likely for Biden. I think there will be a couple points shift toward Trump in Virginia because of the sort of almost political revolution, almost that Youngkin has started in Virginia. But I don't think it'll make much difference with Trump as it would with somebody like, say, DeSantis or even Youngkin himself if he were to run for president and somehow become the nominee. But with Trump being on the ballot and being the nominee, I think it'll be around a 7-point victory for Biden in the state of Virginia. Now, Minnesota, Biden wins it by around 5 points or so. Maybe four. You could see the argument for four too, but I don't see any significant movement for Republicans in the state of Minnesota. So I believe Biden will win Minnesota by around 5 points or so. Right. Okay. So next up is the state of Wisconsin. I believe. Okay. So Wisconsin. Here's the thing that people have to understand about Wisconsin. One bad midterm cycle and a bad Supreme Court election for conservatives doesn't mean that the state of Wisconsin is permanently Democrat. Because you have to remember, these people still elected Ron Johnson to the Senate. And despite the awful environment for Donald Trump in 2020, he should have lost Wisconsin by 5 points or more. He barely lost it by half a percentage point. So I think Donald Trump is a very strong Republican candidate in Wisconsin. And I think Donald Trump is the only 2024 Republican who will be able to win Wisconsin because there are so many only Trump voters in Wisconsin. And those only Trump voters helped to carry Johnson over the threshold in 2022. And I believe, and we saw this in 2016, but I believe Trump will win the state of Wisconsin by a point or so. Maybe a little bit more than a point or so, but Wisconsin will be a victory for Donald Trump in 2024. Now, Michigan, I don't know what to say. The Michigan Republican Party has completely self-destructed. I think Biden will win it by a similar margin to 2020, but the Michigan Republican Party is a disgraceful state GOP. Like, dear God, I don't even know what to say about these people anymore. I mean, after 2022, I mean, I understand that 2022 was one bad cycle for Republicans, but the Michigan Republican Party, after picking their new state GOP chair, uh, I don't know what to say. I mean, Michigan Republicans need to get their act together. That's for sure. But as of now, I think if the election was held today, I think Biden would win Michigan by around 3 percentage points. Now, Pennsylvania. Oh boy, Pennsylvania. This is a very important state, and it's honestly gonna come down to the wire. But I don't know. We'll get back to that one. Now, Nebraska's second, likely for Biden. I don't see how Trump makes any reversal there in Nebraska's second. I don't see how Republicans win it. In fact, I don't see how Don Bacon holds on in 2024, who's the House representative for that district. I don't see how he holds on. He's going to lose. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm repeating myself. My bad. New Hampshire, same thing with Minnesota. I don't see any serious Republican momentum there. I think Biden's going to win it by 5 or 6 points. I just don't see how Trump makes up any significant ground in New Hampshire besides the anti war voters, which could bring it down to maybe a 4 point margin or so. But even then, I don't see how Trump even gets within 5 points. I don't see any significant movement for Trump in New Hampshire at all. Now, Maine. Okay, so Maine's second, my bad. Maine's second is going to be likely for Trump because Trump has made significant gains there. And even in 2020, he held the line in Maine's second congressional district in 2020. And 2020 wasn't even a good year for Donald Trump at all. And people have to remember, in 2020, which was supposed to be a terrible landslide loss for Donald Trump, he still barely lost. He lost by a little bit more than 40,000 votes over 3 states, which were Georgia, Arizona, and Wisconsin. It's not like Donald Trump lost by a landslide in 2020 and he's completely uneluctable. It's not like he's a Doug Mastriano level of uneluctable. People have to remember he barely lost in 2020. And I think if he does just a little bit better across a couple states, I think he can win. And one of those states being Pennsylvania. But we'll get to Pennsylvania in a minute. So Maine at large, probably likely for Biden again, but it shifts a couple points, probably 6 or 7 point victory for in Maine at large for Joe Biden. And now we get to the final state, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. You know, these are the same people that elected John Fetterman. And John Fetterman can't even speak. John Fetterman was hospitalized for several weeks. He couldn't even attend the Senate floor to vote on crucial bills. And yet these people still elected into the Senate. I mean, we all saw how badly the debate went in 2022 between Mehmet Oz and John Fetterman, and they still elected the guy by like 5 percentage points. So I don't necessarily trust Pennsylvania to make the right decision. I just don't. But I think Biden wins it by a tilt margin, nonetheless. I do think Trump will make a smaller shift there in Pennsylvania. I think Biden will win it by around half a percentage point or so, but I just don't trust Pennsylvania to make the right decision in this election, which is why I think Donald Trump will lose the state of Pennsylvania by around a half a percentage point or so. I just don't see a significant shift for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania at this time. Now, if things get bad enough for Biden and the Democrats, I could absolutely see Donald Trump winning Pennsylvania. But for right now, I have it going to Biden by around half a percentage point because I just, like I said, I'm saying this for the third time, I know, but I don't trust Pennsylvania to make the right choice in the 2024 presidential election. So this is the final map. Joe Biden gets 271 electoral votes. Donald Trump gets 267 electoral votes. Joe Biden barely reelected. I mean, his reelection hinges on Pennsylvania at this point because I think is with Donald Trump barely eking out victories in states like Georgia, in states like Wisconsin and Nevada, I think this election will really hinge on Pennsylvania. I mean, if Biden is able to win Pennsylvania, I think he'll be on track to win re-election. Uh, but if he's losing states like Georgia, Wisconsin, and Nevada, it makes you wonder how Biden's really going to do in Pennsylvania. And this whole narrative about DeSantis is going to win because he can win Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin. Are you kidding me? DeSantis is no more electable than Trump is. Hell, I would argue that he's less electable than Trump is because DeSantis is not as likable of a figure by many people. I think Trump would have a much bigger impact on the 2024 election than DeSantis ever would. And the reason for this is because DeSantis wouldn't be able to win Wisconsin and he wouldn't be able to get close in Pennsylvania. You know why? Because there are so many only Trump voters here. People always talk about never Trump voters. We don't talk enough about only Trump voters. People that'll only come out for Republicans if the Republican nominee is Donald Trump, which will aid Republicans significantly in states like Wisconsin and states like Pennsylvania, which are states that are most certainly needed to win the 2024 presidential election. So I think people are really underrating Trump's ability to bring in these very important white working class voters that are going to give the GOP a victory in 2024. And I think it is understated how much Trump is underestimated in this election. People act like he's going to lose Texas and North Carolina, even Florida, potentially even Ohio, some people. I mean, Trump's not that unelectable. If he was that unelectable, he would have never won in 2016 in the first place. But he has already won a national election. People forget this. It's not like Trump is completely unelectable. He won a national election before, and it was his first time ever running for political office in his entire life. And he won a national election. He was elected president. He served as a president for 4 years. and he barely lost re-election in a terrible environment for him in 2020. I personally believe that Nevada will go to Biden due to him being the normal candidate between him and Trump. I also believe that Trump will lose Georgia due to Trump-backed Republicans losing their primary and election. Burt Jones was a Burt Jones was a Trump-backed Republican. He won by 5 points in 2022. I don't see the argument there. And Herschel Walker, you can make the argument for Herschel Walker, but Herschel Walker was a bad candidate to begin with. So Herschel Walker would have lost either way. If Trump would have endorsed somebody like Gary Black, somebody with half a brain, or even somebody like Doug Collins, that we wouldn't have had the discussion of Senator Warnock being in for another 6 years. Herschel Walker, it was his race to lose. And I know he was a Trump-backed Republican. I know he was Trump-backed from the beginning. But that doesn't change the fact that he was a bad candidate. I mean, he was burdened with scandals, and Herschel Walker is not the same type of Republican that Donald Trump is, because Donald Trump is the kind of guy where scandals almost seem to bounce back away from him. Herschel Walker and other type of Republicans are not like that. I've never seen anybody like Donald Trump who can literally deflect scandals away from him and bounce them away from him. It's almost like this guy's undestructible or indestructible rather. My bad. I can barely talk right now. Uh my brain is having a stroke. But I don't think anyone believes Ohio is going to flip before Texas, Florida, North Carolina. Well, well, maybe not. But there are literally people, and I'm talking about people on Twitter like Rufus, who think Texas and North Carolina are going to North Carolina and Texas. There we go, are going to flip to Biden if Donald Trump is the nominee. There's a guy on Twitter called Rufus, and I believe many people know who I'm talking about when I say Rufus. He has literally said that Biden will win Texas and North Carolina if Trump is the nominee. Mark my words. You can check his account on Twitter. Rufus, founding father of Electabros. You could check his Twitter. That is what he believes. And there are some people. I mean, it's bad enough to think Biden's going to win North Carolina. He didn't even win it in 2020, which was the perfect environment for any Democrat to win North Carolina. He didn't win North Carolina in 2020. How the hell is he going to win it in 2024 in a better environment for Donald Trump? How the hell is that going to happen? It's not going to happen. Biden is not going to win North Carolina. Stop it. Stop all of the bullshit. Donald Trump is going to win North Carolina. Accept it, get over it, move on. Okay, so this is my current 2024 prediction. I think Joe Biden does unfortunately win re-election, but it'll be close. And anybody who thinks that the 2024 presidential election is not going to be close, I'm sorry, but you are an idiot. I could see Biden winning, but it would take a pretty bad scandal of Trump that would doom him. But that's my opinion. I mean, I agree. Donald Trump is not the kind of guy to be doomed by every little scandal. Hell, look at the Hollywood Access tape. He still won the presidency despite that. I know Hillary Clinton was a god awful candidate, but if it weren't for the Hollywood Access tape, can you imagine what would have happened to Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election? That would have been terrible. Democrats would have lost so much more than just what they did lose, so much more than Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. They would have probably lost Minnesota. They would have probably lost New Hampshire. They would have probably lost Nevada. They would have lost so many other states. But the Hollywood Access tape, it was specifically targeted at Donald Trump in the 2016 election to sink his campaign. Look what happened. He was elected president despite that. And look at COVID. Look at the Mueller report. Look at impeachment hoax number one. Look at the Ukraine probe. All of that was targeted to sink Donald Trump's reelection campaign in 2020, and it almost didn't work. It almost failed. People don't understand. Despite all of the stuff that was up against Donald Trump in 2020, he barely lost. He lost by 40,000 votes across 3 states. Why can't people understand that he barely lost? And in North Carolina. No, Biden's not going to win North Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, he's just not. I mean, Trump would literally have to shoot somebody to lose North Carolina. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Trump is not going to lose North Carolina. You can bookmark this, and I could be wrong in November of 2024, but Donald Trump is not going to lose North Carolina. Accept it, get over it, move on. Thoughts on Sununu potentially retiring? I think that's stupid. I think that is absolutely stupid. That right there could be giving Democrats a free governorship in 2024. I think that is stupid. Somebody make this man run for reelection. I mean, he is definitely not my favorite governor, but that is stupid to retire during a presidential election. That is just fucking stupid. And yes, YouTube, I know I swore. I'm sorry, but stupid. Somebody get Sununu. Somebody get a hold of Sununu's people and beg him to run for reelection. Come on. So when did Rufus say? He said it right after the midterms. He said it in November of 2022, right after the midterms. And a lot of people reacted that way after the midterms. I will admit, like, oh, Donald Trump's gonna lose North Carolina. Mark Robinson's gonna lose North Carolina now. Like, there's no proof of that. And all of the polling that we've seen out of North Carolina, Robinson has been leading. There's only a couple polls with Stein in the lead. And North Carolina governor. That's another topic we should talk about. The North Carolina governor race in 2024. I think that's a very important topic because North Carolina uh, historically likes to elect Democrats at the governor level. That is true because Roy Cooper is the governor of North Carolina right now, and he's a Democrat. And you can look back at past gubernatorial elections in North Carolina. The last Republican to win the North Carolina governor race was was not Pat McCrory. Was it Pat McCrory? I believe it was Pat McCrory. Was it Pat McCrory? It was. Yeah, it was Pat McCrory in 2012. He was the last Republican. Before that, they didn't have a single Republican governor for decades. Democrats would always win the North Carolina governor's race. So I think it'll be different in 2024. Why? Because Robinson is a different kind of candidate. And there are literally people who think that he's a Mastriano type candidate. That he's gonna lose by 6 to 8 points because he's a Mastriano type of candidate. He said things about Jews. People already knew about his comments in 2020. Guess what? They elected him by 4 points anyway. So that's bullshit. Robinson being a Mastriano type of candidate, that's bullshit. I don't believe it for 1 minute. And besides, Mastriano had never won a statewide office before. Mark Robinson has by 4 points. He outran everybody in 2020. Okay? Do you think that Biden will improve his support with Hispanics? I believe he will improve with them to. No, no, I don't. I believe he'll do roughly the same. But Trump has definitely made some significant inroads with Hispanics. But I think the only place where Biden will probably improve with Hispanics is a place like Arizona, maybe Texas a little bit, definitely California. But Florida, no. Florida is definitely one of the states where Biden will do worse with Hispanics. In fact, I think Biden's on track to lose Miami-Dade County. How much will Robinson beat Stein by? Probably around 2 points, maybe a point and a half, 2 points. It'll be competitive, but Robinson will beat Stein by a couple points, maybe a point and a half, maybe 2 points, something like that. But it will be competitive either way. But I can join in a few minutes. Yo, GOP. Right, we're gonna get GOP on here in a couple of minutes. That'll be refreshing. Because because for the past 40 minutes or so, it's just been me up here having a brain stroke. So I think it'll be good to have GLP on here because then it'll give me somebody to talk to directly rather than just responding to messages in the chat. Who should Trump pick for running mate? Ooh, that's a tough one. He can't pick DeSantis. He can't pick DeSantis because they're both from the same state. And I don't want him to pick Carrie Lake either because that will have electoral consequences. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. He needs to pick somebody who is good on the issues but can unite the party at the same time. And I would say Lee Zeldin because Zeldin is great on the issues and he almost won in New York in 2022. I'm sure you all remember that one. So there you go. I think he should pick Lee Zeldin because not only would Lee Zeldin have good electoral consequences, but he's also somebody who can unite the party. Trump should pick Gabbard. I mean, maybe. I mean, Gabbard definitely would be something to bring to bring more moderates on Trump's side. Maybe even some progressives. I doubt that though. I can guarantee that if Biden gives me a waffle, he can win big. What if Trump gives you a waffle? What if Trump were to give you a waffle? What would happen then? Give me 10 minutes max. Okay. Nothing about his. It's literally his pinned tweet. What do you mean? Like, I could pull it up right now. Okay, he got rid of it. He got rid of it, but it was literally there. It literally used to be his pinned tweet. Kucinich will unite the anti-war vote behind Trump. I mean, true, true. I stand by my statement that 2024 will be a foreign policy based election. That is also true. Uh, because of the war in Ukraine, I think the 2024 election uh, could be could be mostly based around foreign policy. Okay, fair. Well, I didn't find anything. Okay, so he got rid of the tweet that said that Biden was going to win Texas. But the closest thing I had to that is this. Okay, check this out. Check this out. This is what he said. Texas will be super close if Trump is the nominee. Good chance he loses it. And then the other guy said Trump will lose Texas. So that's the. To be fair, he didn't say in the tweet that Trump would lose Texas. He said that it was a good chance that you lose it, but that's the closest thing I could find to the pit to what used to be his pinned tweet. And yes, he did say Trump was going to lose North Carolina, which is bullshit. Blackburn tried to block bills that would address childhood obesity. What? I didn't know that. Why did she do that? That's gay. Take a look at Rufus. Take a look at Oh my fucking god, dude, Rufus takes on black people. Oh my god, I gotta see this. Oh my fucking god, I gotta show you this. This right here. This is one of them. Check this out. I was okay. I'm not gonna read that. I'm not gonna read that because I don't want to get my stream taken down. The sunset is black. See, this is another one. What is the biggest reason why? Okay, this is another one. Uh, okay, that's just factually true, but I'm not gonna read that. Black, blacks in the U.S. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna read that, but that's another one. Dude, look at this. This is another one. This is another one. So yeah, that's Rufus's takes on black people. I'll be able to come on very soon. All right, we'll be waiting for you. Should David McCormick run for Senate? I mean, I don't like the guy, but I think he will decrease Casey's margin, and that'll have less bad coattails down ballot and up ballot even. He's a closeted Republican. He's an anti-Trump Republican. But yeah, he's supposed to be some kind of Republican. Yeah, basically what I just said. Rufus is Asian. Oh my god. Wait, he is? I thought he was white. Fucking A. You learn something new every day. Would Lou Barletta have beaten Josh Shapiro? Absolutely not. Although Barletta would have lost by like 7, he would have still lost. Just because of the environment in Pennsylvania in 2022. But he would have definitely done better than Mastriano. Also, sharing some more idiotic takes from Twitter. What the hell is this? Excuse me, but Robinson, this dude has Robinson losing by 5. Really now? Really now? See, this is exactly what I mean with people thinking that Robinson is some kind of Mastriano type candidate. This is exactly what I mean. It's idiotic takes like this. I think the word is Debbie Dingle is going to run for Senate. You mean in Michigan? Are we talking about Debbie Dingle in Michigan? You know, Michigan, yeah. Michigan Senate. You know, I would have supported Bill Huizenga on the Republican side if he wouldn't have said some of the things that he's been saying about Social Security. Because I, for one, am someone who supports protecting Social Security. Despite being a Republican, I am very pro Social Security. Uh, yeah, that's one of the things that's pushing me away from Bill Huizenga is his comments on Social Security. But if he was more based on Social Security, then hell, I'd probably support him. James Craig for Senate. Yeah, I agree. I agree now that Bill Huizenga has made some of the comments he's made about Social Security. How is James Craig on the issues though? Because like it's been like 2 years since I've been tracking James Craig. Although I do know he got kicked off of the ballot for the Republican Party nomination for governor. But I forgot. How is James Craig on the issues? Would you support a Republican that would get rid of Social Security and Medicare? Hell no. Getting rid of Social Security and Medicare would completely wreck this. No, no. Do you have any idea what that would do to our seniors? Hell no. No, I wouldn't support that. Yeah, I'm not necessarily the most conservative person on issues like healthcare. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. In fact, yeah, no. On Social Security issue, either. I'm not exactly the most conservative person. In fact, on healthcare, I'm not a conservative at all because conservatives don't have a healthcare plan. They literally don't. Abortion rights and democracy. Well, here's the thing. Democracy is code word for democracy is code word for political homogeny. Like if you don't agree with the administration, you are a threat to democracy. That's my problem with the word democracy because it allows the administration, and I'm talking about the Biden administration, to label anybody who disagrees with their policies as a threat to democracy. There we go. My brain had a stroke there for a second, but that's my main problem. Another problem is that the United States isn't a democracy; it's a constitutional republic. What's your opinion on abortion rights? I'm pro-life with three exceptions: rape, incest, and danger to the life of the mother. Do you support a national ban on abortion? No. No, I don't. I don't. I don't believe that we should force every single state to adopt one policy on abortion. I believe that abortion should be a states' right issue. But personally, I am pro-life. Personally, I'm pro-life. I almost fucked up there. I am pro-life. But policy-wise, on the state level, I would say I'm pro-life with exceptions. Also, contraceptives, they're all right, I suppose. Isn't contraceptives like birth control? Or am I completely wrong? But if you were to ask me the question, is abortion murder? Yes. Yes. Yes, I believe abortion is murder. Yeah, it's like that. Okay, so yeah. I mean, I believe that contraceptives can be harmful to the body, and there is proof of that. Um, there are some anecdotal cases, of course, but there are cases of abortion, or not abortion, of birth control pills and such being harmful um, to individuals' bodies. But the legality of contraceptives, yeah, I would support contraceptives being legal. As for abortion on the state level, 6 weeks, 6 week ban, 6 week ban, and past that it's exceptions. Well, yes, in that area we are a democracy. I agree, but we are not a direct democracy. How do you feel about election deniers holding elected office? I don't care if somebody's an election denier. I believe that in this country we should have the right to question an election if we believe that it is that there's something fishy about the election. So I don't care. I mean, if somebody wants to deny an election, they run the risk of being objectively wrong, but that doesn't mean we should stop people from denying elections, and we should lock up people who deny elections, or even prevent them from holding elected office. I don't support that either. And YouTube, don't ban me, okay? I'm just saying my opinion. I didn't say anything about the 2020 election, all right? So don't ban me. Honestly, this is pretty dangerous what I'm doing. Giving my giving my opinion about elections. That's kind of dangerous what I'm doing. But who the hell cares? If you Okay, fair, me too. But how do you feel about them undermining the results of that election? Okay, well, I mean, it's their right to think they won, but they run the risk of being objectively false. Like I said that. But like if Trump wants to think, and YouTube, I'm not saying anything, but if Trump wants to think that he won the 2020 election, he has every right to. But whether he did or not is down to objective truth, and objectively, he did not win. So, so he runs the risk of being objectively wrong. But it's his right to think he won if he wants to. But as for like actively working to undermine results, like if they try to walk in the governor's mansion, if they lose a governor's race, they try to walk into a governor's mansion and be the governor, then that's wrong. Because after all, you're not the governor. You don't have the right to just walk in and be the governor when you lost the election. So, in the case of somebody like Carrie Lake, who is grifting off of her loss to get money and gear up for probably a Senate race or a VP slot or something like that, uh, yeah, no. As long as they don't do anything illegal, they have every right to feel like that they actually won. As long as they don't do anything illegal. One issue voting, I think that's stupid. I think that's stupid. There are so many political issues in the United States that people can vote on. And I'm voting on multiple issues in 2024. I'm voting on the economy. I'm voting on immigration. I'm voting on trade. I'm voting on, in many ways, Social Security, Medicare, other parts of healthcare. I'm voting on multiple issues in 2024. People who only vote on things like inflation, people who only vote on abortion, uh, people who only vote on immigration, stuff like that. They tend to, they tend to get help get the wrong people in office. You know what I'm saying? So I think single issue voting is. I don't think it's the best option, but if you want to vote that way, hell, who am I to stop you? Go ahead. But I'm just saying it's not really the best thing to do. The issue with single issue the problem with single issue voting is that if you're voting for one candidate or the other based on one single issue, then you're ignoring any other issues that may bring that candidate more up to par with you. So, let's say you're only voting on abortion. If you only vote for pro-life candidates or pro-choice candidates or, candidates who are somewhere in the middle, if you're overlooking the other issues, like if they're good on abortion but bad on trade, bad on immigration, stuff like that, they're still not a good candidate for political office. And GLP, I see you. So, yo, GLP.
Okay, yeah, this should be working.
Oh,
Yeah, hello. How is this
oh, I
going?
can't actually hear you.
You what? Hello? Is this picking up?
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
Shit.
That's weird. Hello.
Hello? How is it working?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Shit.
What in the hell? Will that do the trick? I'm gonna shut off my phone and turn it back on. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you. I'm just saying that if you're willing to if you're willing to ignore how a candidate is on all the other issues, then your likelihood of picking a bad candidate is better. Oh, okay, let me try something here. That's my opinion, but I think it makes sense. So I'm willing to admit what I'm saying is subjective, but I believe in what I'm saying. So, okay, that's fine. Okay, so I just tried to play a YouTube video and I couldn't hear that either. So,
Hello?
Okay, so
Is
I
this
just tried to play
working?
a YouTube video and I couldn't hear that either. Um, I'm on Firefox right now, so what I'm actually gonna do is just like switch over to Chrome.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, so can people hear me? Or is this picking up to the people still in chat? Yeah, was it just PM? Was he having issues? The Missourian Populist. He's a Missourian who also happens to be populist. People hear me? Damn, yeah. He screwed up using Firefox. I mean, I get it's an alternative. Like, what's the point in using Firefox? Like, Google, it's just as bad as Google when it comes to their like political leanings. So a lot of time people don't use Google because they're like left wing, but so is Firefox. So it's like, why is the point? You may as well just use Google at that point. Um, at least use like DuckDuckGo or something. But yeah, comments. Yes, this is Great Lakes politics. In fact,
Hello?
yeah, my account got banned. Hello, Missourian populist.
Oh, okay, it's the crappy headphones. Hold on.
Oh, that's what it is. Those goddamn headphones. Never use them. Damn, I got this whole thing to myself. Okay, so I gotta think of some like. So as Rufus on Twitter famously said, the Barracks have ruined Atlanta, and we must fight against them because because the Barracks have ruined Atlanta. This is a true statement, and you cannot dispute it. You can cope and see all you want, but they have. That's the only reason Atlanta has been ruined is the Barracks, and they are awful. So yeah, Barracks. They've ruined Atlanta, and there's nothing we can do to stop them. I'm just schizo ranting at this point, and super quietly anyway, so Missourian better get this headphone situation, so I'm not just schizo ranting to a bunch of people. Oh, yeah, sub to my new channel, The Great Lakes Perspective, that's what it's called actually. Sub to the new channel.
Hello.
Hello? Is it working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Finally, finally. Yeah, the whole chat said they could hear me, so it was your
Yeah.
fault. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to leave and join again on my iPhone, so.
Yeah, so about the prediction map I saw you do earlier, I agreed with everything. You should just swap the margins in Wisconsin and Nevada. Wisconsin's Tiltar, Nevada's Lena. I'm like super bullish on Nevada
Ah.
for some reason. I think that Dems are screwed there. The only reason
I
Laxalt
mean, I
lost
think
was
they are
because
long.
of
I mean,
low rail turnout.
I think they're screwed there long term, but I don't know about 2024. So I'm just being
No,
careful.
I think it's gonna in 2024 they're gonna collapse.
I mean, you could be.
Look, the
We'll
Democratic
see.
Party there is literally in a civil war right now. Like the DSA got their funding cut off, and now they're having like a temper tantrum. It's kind of hilarious, but I think that Nevada is screwed because here's what happened in So the reason Nevada Dems still did pretty good in a 2022 was because basically all the funding the Democrats stopped sending it to the state party. They sent it to the Washoe County Democratic Party, which was still controlled by the establishment. And now the like DSA is fighting back, so it's a massive civil war going on. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they're all killing each other. People are getting stabbed. It's crazy. But
Okay,
yes.
that's fair.
Yeah, let Sebastian in here. I don't even know who he is, but he looks cool. Except the anime profile pic. Yeah, that's a red flag, but we can let him on.
Yeah,
Also,
okay, I'll let him in.
I may be meeting Buckeye Politics in person tomorrow. But we'll have to see.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Mr. Sebastian Sanabria.
All right, Sebastian, I put the link in the chat. Right?
Yes, no, okay. If there's like a bot name that joins someone like John Smith, do not let them in under any circumstance because they're a bot
Yeah.
and they will play. They
I
will
don't want that to
play.
happen again.
They will play a certain content that starts with the letter P. Sometimes even graphic forms of it. It rhymes with a certain crop that's found in Iowa. Let's just say the content
Yeah.
that these bots play. Yeah, it
Yeah.
rhymes with a certain crop in Iowa.
Yeah,
So
we don't want that to happen again. Yo, it's my
Mr.
first ballot being
Sebastian,
casted this year. Who should I cast it for? Uh,
where do you even live?
Jep.
I did, like, yeah, like, dude, there's no national election this year, so you can't tell. Next year will be my first time casting a ballot. It's cringe
Yeah, same.
because Wisconsin is cringe because most states, if you're old enough to vote in the general, you can vote in the primaries even if you're underage. I can't because I turn 18 in July of next year, and the primaries are in April. So I won't be able to vote in the primaries, but I will be able to vote in the general. So
Ah,
okay, here's how I'll
my
vote. If Trump
in
is the
my state.
nominee, yeah, if Trump is the nominee, I will vote for Trump. If he, if DeSantis is the nominee, I will vote for Kucinich if he runs a third party because I think he's gonna run third party. That's who I'll vote for if DeSantis is the nominee.
Okay. Well, in the Missouri primary, which is in March, I'll be 18, so I'll get to vote in the Missouri
I
primary.
thought didn't you weren't you able to vote in 2022 or were you still a little young?
No, I was 17 and 22.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Dude, why haven't you talked about your masterpiece, How to Talk to Women? I literally sent that to people in my school and they said it helped them get laid.
Wait, what?
It's helping people. Someone at my school used the tips in your video and got rejected. So you're making people try at least in that video. We love that video, don't we, audience? How to Talk to Women, top of the line video. Can you make a sequel?
Okay, all right, okay.
What? Can we please make a sequel?
Um, I I cannot confirm or deny a sequel.
Yeah, we need a sequel. That video was epic. I like the beer. It was. Yeah, wait. Did you drink like an actual beer in there, or did you just like fill a beer bottle full of like water? Or were you actually filming that video like drunk?
That was the root beer.
Oh, bro, come on. If that was Wisconsin, if I was making a video like that, since I live in Wisconsin, I would have just pulled out like a big ass beer. May as well. Because in Wisconsin, it's legal to drink underage if your parents give permission, but nobody gets permission. Yeah, this state is so funny. There was like a big scandal a
Ah,
few months ago because like there was someone in the Texas State House who bought a 20-year-old staffer a beer, and this was like a huge scandal because she was underage. In Wisconsin, that wouldn't be a story. You could go into people like order
hold on.
beers. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my goodness. There's some unsavory things happening. That's sad. Oh my goodness. Very sad. This is a very sad day. A very sad day.
Sorry about that.
Nah, you're good. But what was I saying? Yeah, but like there was a scandal a few months ago about like someone in Texas, like a state representative, bought their 20-year-old staffer a beer, and this was like a huge scandal. in Wisconsin,
Oh
people
my
do
god.
that with like 6-year-olds all the time, and nobody cares because it's legal here. But in Texas, everyone had like a meltdown. They're like, "He needs to resign. This is inappropriate conduct." The South. Why is the South so like when it comes to alcohol and shit? They're like super like strict. I think there's still some dry counties in like Tennessee and Mississippi where it's illegal to own alcohol. Like,
Yeah, I think there are.
I'm not gonna be like maybe they wouldn't be so hooked on opioids if they just allowed beer. Okay, that was not a good joke to make. That is. I don't think it's not racist. That's a very bad taste joke, but whatever.
Yeah.
They should be drinking more. Just I don't get this like hatred of beer. That just needs to stop. There's like this huge hatred, especially in the tradcon community. Not the Catholic community. The Catholics they love their beer, but
Yeah.
like a lot of these trad people. And there's a certain even Democrats. A certain guy, Appalachian Dem on Twitter. He's the most cursed guy politically. I actually helped him a few times, like trying to get representatives in South Carolina or state represent. No, it was like a county board. I did a bunch of research to help them to find out who was like anti-abortion, who would propose like a bill or something.
Uh,
Like I forgot what it was. This was a few months back. But this dude wants to ban like alcohol. He's a prohibitionist, but at the same time, and he's
bruh.
anti-weed, but at the same time, he's like a massive social progressive who's like gay. So it's like, what the hell is happening to society?
Oh my god.
Society, the West has fallen. Society has collapsed. Also, I've apparently made enemies of the DeSantis wing of election YouTube by existing. Like, I came into these dudes' live chat. It was like conservative Hawkeye politics. I went into his live chat and everyone was claiming that I was like sucking Trump's dick or some shit like that because like I said that I trust Trump over DeSantis, and like I tried and they won't take any actual arguments. They just like if you give them any arguments, they'll just be like, "Oh, look at 2022. Your guys lost. Uh, Trump can never win again." It's like I don't care. It's if it's like DeSantis, I don't trust him. He would get us involved in a war just because, especially since he's got people like everyone talks about Trump having these bad advisors. When DeSantis has people like Christina Pushover around him, who literally like uh, was in Ukraine, endorsed Zelensky's campaign for president in I think it was 2019. I think that election was. She was celebrating on his election night, which Zelensky. And let's just be real, democracy in Ukraine's a sham. It doesn't exist. It's like, whoa, you get to choose between the Zelensky bloc and the Poroshenko bloc. The only thing is, Poroshenko and Zelensky agree on absolutely everything, except for Zelensky was slightly less pro-European, and even he was super pro-European, so it doesn't even matter. He was, and in practice, he did the exact same thing. It's almost like the America, but it's even more of a uniparty there. It's basically there's no dissent whatsoever. It's like, oh, if you vote for Zelensky's party, you might get more. You might get more like abortion rights. It'll be like abortion will be legal like 15 weeks instead of 14. And if you vote for the other guy, it'll be the status quo of 14 weeks. So it's like not that much of a difference. So Ukrainian democracy is a sham. All the actual opposition parties literally are like were kept off the ballot even before the war because everyone's like, oh, the only reason they limited parties was because of the war. When it's like, no. And yeah, that's my rant on. I want to
Yeah.
release a rant on Ukraine someday because they are cringe. Let's just say. And
Yeah,
then
that
we got to
I
get
agree.
Doingus. Remember Doingus? He supports Ukraine because of the Azov Battalion.
Bruh.
That's unironically that's the funniest reason to support Ukraine. The Wignat reason for supporting Ukraine. I support Ukraine because they're literally Nazis. Also, I found out
Bruh, freaking Doingus.
the guy who directed the movie JFK, who I knew was a liberal, but apparently he's super based on Russia, Ukraine. He spent like the past few years just like ranting against Zelensky. His name's Oliver Stone. Look him up. Actually,
Ah,
pretty based. I thought he
okay.
was just like I thought he was a generic shit lib because I knew he was a lib, but it turns out he's actually like a pro like Putin guy. which is based. He actually interviewed Putin
Oh
for
my
years.
god. I don't think I've ever met a pro-Putin liberal.
They exist. I mean, that's how Jackson Hinkle got his start, and then he realized. I think he just left the left. I don't know. He's probably still a leftist. He just likes Putin. Jackson
Bro.
Hinkle, the dive, which that's where I get all of my foreign policy news. Is the dive with Jackson Hinkle? No, I
Wow.
don't. I get it from all over the place. But yeah, the West is literally lying about like the Ukraine. They're always like, Ukraine is doing so well, guys. They're crushing the Russians, and then you look at like actual reports and no, they're not. I heard their counteroffensive. They were making such a big deal about this counteroffensive. Ukraine's gonna take all this land. They're gonna go into Russia, and that counteroffensive has completely collapsed. Like twice,
Bro.
like ever since the start of the counteroffensive, like twice as many Ukrainian soldiers have been killed than Russians. Which, yeah,
Yeah,
my
it's just a pure stalemate
counteroffensive,
at this point.
my Ghost of Kiev turns out to be a fucking CGI. They took it from Star Wars. The video of the Ghost of Kiev was literally a repurposed like Star Wars video.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you get that shit was hilarious. That was a
Dude.
year old, but they were no, and then the Ukrainian government's posting videos of like Harry Potter and shit, and they're like, "We're like Harry Potter," and it's like, bro, stop.
Cringe.
The only base comparison is using Lord of the Rings. Like any of these, like those movies are actually good. Unlike the Marvel movies, like what is that? It's just the Avengers are assembling to take down Putin. No, Lord of the Rings is the only good comparison because it's actually a good film. It's not just all the movies aren't just repurposed with the same plot like every Marvel film. That's all it is. All these movies, whatever you're watching, it's literally just the same exact movie with different characters in a different setting. Always ends the same way. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel movies, man.
I heard that they ruined Indiana Jones too. Didn't see that new one, but I heard it sucked, and I don't blame them. They don't even have look. At least the last one they made a few years ago had Shia LaBeouf in it, who's actually become very based recently since he converted to Catholicism. Okay, I thought he was pretty shit after the whole like "He Will Not Divide Us" thing that kept getting trolled. Do you remember that at all?
I don't think so.
So Shia LaBeouf, he's an actor, right? He had like this thing called "He Will Not Divide Us," and it would be this camera in Times Square. It wasn't Times Square. It was outside of an art museum in New York, and it would just be rolling, and everyone would just go in front. The idea was that everyone would go in front of the sign and say "He will not divide us" over and over to until Trump lost. It was supposed to be from 2016 to 2020, and what ended up happening is all these 4chan people would go there, and this was like in 2017. They would go there with like Pepe the Frog flags and just like scream and shit. So then Shia LaBeouf decided to move it. He moved the camera because he didn't want this happening anymore to a flagpole that would just be a flag waving. And this was all a live stream. And the flag would just say, "He will not divide us." People on 4chan use the cloud formations to find the exact address of this place. Someone went up there and then replaced the flag with a Trump flag. And then this
Oh my
happened like
god.
eight more. This happened 8 more times. He kept on moving it, and this kept on happening because 4chan users don't touch grass, so they were easily able to use like the cloud formations to find the building. Even in Europe, they moved it to Europe and didn't tell anyone, but they still found it in Europe. And like a 4chan dude, literally flew all the way to Europe just so we could do that. It was
Oh my
funny.
god.
Yeah,
4chan
well, that
users,
thing
man,
was
they just
failure.
regret
But then
nothing.
recently, like Shia LaBeouf just went quiet for a few years after that, and now he came out and he's like converting to Catholicism,
Ah,
and he's like, so yeah, he's becoming based. Also, he's friends with Mel Gibson now, so he's probably getting red pilled. We love Mel
alright.
Gibson. Outside of his, he said some questionable things about Jewish people, but outside of that, we love Mel Gibson. Also, Mel Gibson was hanging around with Carrie Lake the other day. Actually, I think that was a few months ago.
Ah.
Apparently, he's making like a documentary on Ukraine, but no one's given. You guys even know who Mel Gibson is? Missourian, you know who
Uh,
Mel Gibson is?
faintly.
Yeah, he's in a lot of movies. Well,
I've
like a
heard of
lot of
him.
movies, like 30 years ago. I don't think any major studio would make a movie with him anymore because of the questionable things he said about Jews. Yeah, he was in the
Oh,
movie Signs. That's a
okay.
good one. He was in The Patriot.
All right.
He was in he made The Passion of the Christ. That was his big one. He was the chicken in
Oh, really?
Chicken Run. Yeah. That
Hmm.
was what else was he in? Trying to
All right.
think.
I actually
He
have to
was in
go, but
ah shit. Damn.
yeah. See ya.
Yes.